Hey, what's up guys? I'm Kevin Ackness, and today I wanted to talk to you guys about this new foot controller by XSonic called the AirStep. Now, it may look ordinary at the first look, but as you dig into some of the features of this pedal, you realize that it's capable of doing just stupid amounts of sick stuff. And I'm going to show you guys just a few of my kind of personal applications for this pedal. But before we dig into that, let's just walk you through some of the main features of this pedal. So looking at the pedal here, you see that there's a ton of different options and features it has. So just going from left to right, the first button here is the preset button, and that can trigger between 5 presets by the pedal itself. You can expand that with the help of the app. You have the power on and off. You can charge it with a 9-volt. And what's cool is it actually comes with this convenient USB to 9-volt adapter. So you can just plug it into your phone charger or kind of whatever you want. You have the Bluetooth antenna, which makes this unit capable of triggering commands from up to 30 meters away. You have expressions in, which accepts both TRS and RTS. And what's cool about it, it can also convert the expression to just continuous MIDI commands. You have MIDI in, so it's just a standard 5-pin MIDI. You have the USB, so you can trigger it through USB if you want to do that. And you have 2 options for relay, so you can program relay. Relay is kind of the analog kind of a thing where you could trigger amp switching or something like that. So you could possibly even make that wireless if you want. And then you have 2 individual MIDI outs, so you could trigger 2 different MIDI devices at once, or you could have them do different things or with just one command. The 5-foot switches is another kind of the hidden gems. The insanely cool part about these switches is that they can each send up to 8 different messages at once, and you have 3 different options of how to send that. So you could do a regular press, you could do a long press, and you could do a release. These messages could be MIDI, HID, or it could be relay. So just reversing the direction. Relay is the traditional kind of foot switches, so you can connect to your amp or anything like that. But what's cool is that you could have the traditional latching kind of effect, but you could also make it momentary. So the second that you step away from the pedal, the effect goes away. HID is another super cool thing if you have it connected to, say, your computer or something like that, because HID can basically trigger any command from the keyboards. So it doesn't really matter if the app that you're using has MIDI enabled or not, because you could just make it kind of be triggered by this unit. As for the MIDI, you have 3 different options. It could be sent from just the standard 5-pin here. It could be sent through USB or the Bluetooth. The MIDI messages that this pedal can send could be control change, program change, notes on, notes off, system real-time, system exclusive, system common, channel pressure, polyphonic pressure, just crazy. But anyway, let's dig into just a couple of different applications of how I would actually end up using this pedal. First things first, let's see how easy it is to connect to and program the AirStep. As you can see, the eye on the AirStep is actually blinking, so that means that it's not connected to any device. So anyway, let's pull up our phone app here and let's enable Bluetooth, touch to connect to AirStep, and just pick the device, and we're in. As you can see here, we can now toggle between the different presets that I've already prepared. And so this first preset, as you can see, is meant as a recording preset. So what I had in mind was for kind of content creation and stuff like that. A lot of the time, if you're like me, you'd want the kind of studio kind of backdrop look rather than seeing what's actually in the background of where your office is. Because if you're like me, there's just a ton of guitars there, lights and stuff like that, and it's not kind of a clean look. This way, you could actually be angled toward the camera, and then we can also just kind of command Logic or whatever DAW that you're working in to just trigger whatever kind of aspects of the recording process as you want. So in order to connect to the computer, we need to disconnect Bluetooth on the phone, enable Bluetooth on the computer, and we're in. So this first preset, as you can see, switch A toggles for recording. So if we click A, we started recording. as you can see, B stops it, and B can also play, but in order to play, we need to go back. So I made this so that it goes back. So it's 1 bar at a time. And if you hold it, as you can see, we go all the way back to the beginning. Now, fast forward is switch number D, and undo is actually E. So if you mess up the take or something like that, it's gone. So if we go get that back, let's check it out. I'm gonna mute one of the signals. We could actually do that by the AirStep by itself. Check out the take we did. Super cool, super convenient, and just the first kind of application of how I would use it. So the second one is actually my personal favorite of how to run the AirStep. This was designed toward a live player that has to run tracks during a live show, but I also wanted to utilize some of the amazing sounding plugins that we have available to our disposal today. I know a lot of you guys are huge fans of the Neural DSP plugins, and I am too. My favorite is the Abasi, so I chose to program this with the Abasi plugin. So basically, we have our main tone. And keep in mind, the AirStep is not connected to through wires to the computer. It's all Bluetooth. So you could put this wherever you want on stage, and you could leave your computer just back hidden or whatever. The only cable that we have to the AirStep is the expression pedal, which to me is super important because it can toggle the volume. To me, the ability to just have control over the overall volume is the kind of most important aspect of my guitar rig for live, because you don't want to overpower musically the other band members, and you want to have respect for the artist you play for, your band members, the audience even. So to me, volume pedal to control the overall volume is the most important aspects of any kind of rig. So I wanted to include that here. Now, we obviously need different sounds, so the first button here can toggle between a clean sound the second one can toggle on and off delay. But I wanted to have another option for that button because we can. And if I hold it, it'll engage or disengage reverb. And you can still click the reverb, or no, delay, but not the reverb. And you could hold it to engage reverb again. So that's everything according to kind of guitar tone and just options for there. So as you can see, the third one can trigger Logic. So let's see here, we can play, and it starts. We can stop it. As you can see, the fourth one can trigger muting and unmuting. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to make a very convenient way of just engaging tracks and then muting that old one and then sending it to another, but I don't want it in the kind of way where it's lined horizontal, because I wanted the ability to route the click track to just some individual. So let's see here, if we listen to this, we have the click track here, and this way we can route it wherever we want. Say that you have like a mixer or something like that, and you could send it to the drummer only or something like that, and basically we can easily trigger it and we can play. We can stop it, and then the secondary function of the fourth one, so it will actually do the first function first, which is muting, and then it'll go down to the next kind of track. So let's say we're doing during a live show, we're here at this point, we played, we finish the song, we'll hold down this. As you can see, it mutes it and it goes down there. And so what I wanted to do with the very last one is I wanted to unmute whatever track we were on and then send it back to the beginning of the project. Vice versa, actually. So as you can see, we're back here and we can click play. And we got the song. We're done with the song, stop it. We can mute it and then go next to the next track. And then we can do the same thing again here. And then we're back. Super convenient way of just running tracks, and we could just take this to anywhere on the stage that we would want. If you wanted to connect the AirStep Lite, you could do it at 2 different spots off the stage. Say you were moving from just like the right wing and then you wanted to be on center stage for a little moment, and then you could just hide one of the AirSteps there and you could have it just do the same commands from there, and you could basically be able to trigger tracks or your guitar tones from anywhere on the stage, which is kind of a game changer, honestly. So while we're hooked up with the expression pedal, we can make it trigger any kind of parameter of logic that we would want. So something else that could be cool for the very first one would be to trigger just the overall volume in general. So I made a little gain plugin for just the master master track, and then we could play and we can adjust the gain accordingly as we play, because something might inspire or your ear might go out of order or kind of whatever, but it's pretty smooth how you can just effortlessly change stuff like on the go like that. If you want to just go back and record, you do that, and you can still adjust. Pretty cool. With so few limitations, I thought it would be kind of fun to try to turn it into an instrument. So I programmed this one to trigger kind of like a stacked fifths kind of a thing. And then we have individual notes here and here. We have a sustain here, if we want, and a half step up here. For this one, I kind of wanted to create a switching system for my home studio. So the first one here actually toggles amp on and off. And how I got that is I just silenced channel number 2 and I'm basically only getting sound from channel number 1. Now I'm running a wet dry rig here, and the wet signal is actually coming from my computer. So if you can see here, this can toggle on and off the wet channel. And then number 3 actually toggles on and off Fractal. So if you mute the amp, pretty cool. And then I had 2 more options for buttons to kind of do whatever with. So I chose to enable it for convenient playback. So the first one here, start and stop in playback. If you want to practice, you could stop it. You could skip song, or you could go back if you want. Very convenient. So yeah, the possibilities of the AirStep is kind of just ridiculous. Make sure that you hit up XSonic's website for some more info and check out some of the other amazing demos that's out there for this unit already. And without anything else, I'll see you next time. Hope you enjoyed it.